In the city of San Nicolas de los Garza, one of the most vibrant areas in the state of Nuevo León, Mexico, where the streets are filled with the pulse of modern life, but still retain a hint of the old charm from Mexico's suburbs. San Nicolas de los Garza is not only an industrial hub with factories scattered on its outskirts, but also home to peaceful residential areas where everyday stories intertwine with untold secrets. In the heart of this city, Debanhi Escobar, a young and passionate law student at the Autonomous University of Nuevo León, lives with her parents in a house situated at the faint border between San Nicolas de los Garza and Apodaca. Surrounded by books and legal lectures in her daily life, Debanhi always yearned to explore new things and break free from the confines of her life there. But no one could have predicted that it was here where strange and mysterious events would set her on an unexpected journey, forever altering her life. San Nicolas de los Garza, with its dim streetlights at night, quiet streets, and buried secrets, is ready to tell a story that will be remembered for a long time. The story of Debanhi Escobar has only just begun, and what lies ahead will leave everyone astonished and deep in thought. On a day in April 2022, Debanhi went to a party with her friends in the evening and then mysteriously disappeared. According to investigative clues before her disappearance, Debanhi exhibited a series of strange behaviors. The developments of the case bear many similarities to the Elisa Lam case that occurred in the U.S. in 2013, which is why this incident has also been dubbed the Mexican version of the Elisa Lam case. Now, let's turn back the clock to April 9th, 2022, to delve into the details of this event. Early in the morning on April 9th, 2022, local police received a call reporting a missing person. The caller, Debanhi's father, stated that his daughter had gone out to a party the previous evening and had not returned. This was highly unusual, and now her phone was unreachable, causing him great concern that something bad may have happened. He asked the police for help in searching for her. Upon receiving the report, the police arrived at the caller's house to gather more information. The couple explained that their daughter was a university student, attending a school less than 10 kilometers from home, so she typically returned every night. Debanhi was born in September 2003 in the state of Nuevo León, making her 18 years old. She was not the couple's biological daughter. They had adopted her when she was just 1 year and 4 months old. Both parents were seasoned lawyers, operating their own law firm locally and enjoying a comfortable income. They deeply loved and spoiled their daughter, fulfilling nearly all her requests. From a young age, Debanhi had been intelligent and quick-witted, excelling in her studies. Influenced by her parents, she passed the university entrance exams and chose to study law, just like her 3 older sisters. Debanhi enjoyed makeup, followed fashion trends, and was quite sociable. In her free time, she often went to parties with her friends. Debanhi's parents continued telling the police that around 11 p.m. the previous night, a girl came by to pick up their daughter for a party. A few hours later, they were unable to reach Debanhi by phone. At first, they thought she was just busy enjoying herself and didn't have time to answer. However, by this morning, she still had not come home, and her phone remained off. They had no idea where she could be and didn't know the girl who had picked her up, only that her name was Sarah. Sarah was 20 years old and also a university student. The police quickly located Sarah. She explained that she had met Debanhi online about 3 months earlier, and while they had attended a few parties together since then, they weren't close friends. The day before, Debanhi texted Sarah, inviting her to go out because the following day was Saturday, and the university had no classes, so Sarah agreed. At 10:47 p.m., Sarah ordered a car to pick up Debanhi from her home. After picking her up, They drove for about 10 minutes and then picked up another girl named Yvonne. Around 11:30 p.m., the three arrived in the city of San Nicolas de los Garza, near Apodaca. They stopped at a convenience store in the city center and bought a bottle of vodka, a bottle of soda, some disposable cups, and ice cubes. After that, they walked to a friend's house on Simon Bolivar Street, where a party was happening. At the party, they drank, played games, and had a good time. Everything was fun, and everyone seemed happy. However, at 12:49 a.m., Debanhi suddenly said she wanted to leave, explaining that she found the party boring and wanted to go somewhere else to continue having fun. Sarah found this a bit strange, but Debanhi was insistent, so she and Yvonne reluctantly left with Debanhi. They walked to another party, but they were denied entry. With no other option, they had to find a new place. Sarah then ordered a white Kia through a ride-hailing app. At 1 a.m., they got in the car and headed to the town of General Escobedo, about 6 kilometers from San Nicolas de los Garza, where another house party was happening. Let's call this place House 1. Before getting out of the car, Sarah asked for the driver's phone number so they could call him if they needed a ride later. When they arrived, they found out that the party at House 1 had already ended. A group of people there told them about another house nearby that was also hosting a party. Let's call that place House 2. It turned out that the host of the party at House 2 initially refused to let strangers in. However, Sarah, Debanhi, and Yvonne still decided to try their luck, and the group who had given them directions went along with them. The distance between the two houses was very short, less than 100 meters. When they arrived, the party host indeed refused them at first, but after a few minutes of persuasion, he relented and let them in. At first, everything seemed fine and everyone was having fun. But soon, Debanhi started behaving strangely. She began yelling and running around the pool, attracting the attention of others at the party. Sarah and Yvonne thought Debanhi was drunk and tried to calm her down, but she wouldn't listen, even locking herself in the men's bathroom. After much effort to console her, Debanhi reluctantly opened the bathroom door and came out, looking angry. However, shortly after, she started yelling again. This behavior upset the others at the party. Feeling embarrassed, Sarah pulled Debanhi away from the party. Unexpectedly, Debanhi became hysterical, ran outside, growing more agitated, cursing loudly, and even kicked Sarah, who was trying to comfort her. At 3:29 a.m., Sarah contacted the previous driver to pick them up. After Debanhi got into the car, Sarah asked the driver to ensure she made it home safely. Then Sarah and Yvonne ordered a separate car to go home. Initially, Sarah thought everything was fine, but soon after, the driver texted her, saying that Debanhi had started screaming hysterically in the car and even tried to open the door to jump out. With no other choice, the driver had to pull over and let Debanhi out on the side of the road. Sarah begged the driver not to leave Debanhi alone, but the driver explained that Debanhi had refused his help, leaving him helpless. Sarah then tried to find Debanhi's family contact information through her social media accounts, but had no success. She reassured herself, thinking that Debanhi would surely call another car to get home after being dropped off. However, the reality was that Debanhi did not return home that night, and no one knew where she had gone. Sarah's account was corroborated by Yvonne, who told the police that she had never met Debanhi before that night and only got to know her at the party, so she didn't know much about Debanhi. However, Yvonne noted that Debanhi seemed to have a volatile temperament and became very irritable after drinking, refusing to listen to anyone's advice. Based on the clues provided by Sarah and Yvonne, the police extracted surveillance footage along the route they took to attend the party. At 11:30 p.m. on Friday night, surveillance cameras captured the three of them buying items at a convenience store in San Nicolas de los Garza, with Debanhi being the one who paid. There were no surveillance cameras on Simon Bolivar Street, where the first party took place, so there was no footage of them there. However, police managed to retrieve footage from cameras outside House 2 in the town of General Escobedo. The surveillance footage showed that at 1:20 a.m. on Saturday, the three women arrived near House 2 in a car. After getting out, they walked to House 1. A minute later, they returned to House 2 with a group of others. Just 9 minutes after arriving, Debanhi was seen leaving House 2 alone and disappearing from the frame. Following this, 4 men were seen walking toward the house, repeatedly looking back in the direction Debanhi had left. Afterward, Debanhi returned to House 2. The 4 men stood in place for quite a while before leaving. It was speculated that they were likely drawn to Debanhi's appearance and wanted to approach her but did not get the chance. Over an hour later, at 2:45 a.m., Debanhi reappeared on the camera, this time with a man in a white shirt following behind her. The man ran ahead to block Debanhi's path. She moved to the edge of the road and the man followed closely behind. The footage showed Debanhi appearing visibly angry, repeatedly pushing the man in an attempt to shake him off. However, he continued to follow her. At one point, Debanhi turned and kicked him. 2 passers-by who witnessed the altercation approached to intervene. Soon, more people, including Sarah and Yvonne, joined to break up the confrontation. At 3:54 a.m., Debanhi got into a white Kia. Sarah was seen leaning down, talking to the driver before the car drove away. The crowd dispersed after this. The camera footage fully matched Sarah's statement. The police also reviewed the chat history between Sarah and the driver, confirming the truthfulness of her account. The police identified the driver, a 46-year-old man named Juan, and took his statement. Juan stated that at around 4 a.m. that morning, Debanhi had gotten into his car in a drunken and highly agitated state. She continuously cursed and demanded to get out of the car, saying she wanted to return to where she had come from. Feeling powerless, Juan pulled over and tried to calm her down, talking with her for several minutes in hopes she would relax. However, Debanhi refused to listen. Concerned about leaving a young girl alone on the road, Juan decided to continue driving. Juan then suggested Debanhi call her family, but she claimed her phone was dead. He handed her a charging cable, but she yelled that she didn't need it. Shortly after, Debanhi unexpectedly crawled from the back seat to the front passenger seat, grabbed the charging cable, and plugged it into her phone. She attempted to power it on, but due to the low battery, kept trying unsuccessfully. As she grew more agitated, she told Juan she didn't want to go home and demanded he take her to another party. Juan insisted on taking her home and asked for her address, but she refused to provide it, even threatening to jump out of the car. Feeling helpless, Juan contacted Sarah. After getting the address from Sarah, Juan continued driving. However, Debanhi wouldn't sit still in the car, adamantly demanding to be let out. Afraid she might harm herself, Juan had no choice but to stop the car. After she got out, Juan contacted Sarah again and took a picture of Debanhi standing by the roadside. He tried to convince her to get back in the car, but she ignored him. Seeing no other option and wanting to avoid any trouble, Juan drove away. In the photo, Debanhi is seen with her hair down, wearing a black face mask, black canvas shoes, and carrying a black shoulder bag. Next, the police extracted surveillance footage from the area where Debanhi was last seen after exiting the vehicle. Surveillance cameras from an international transport company across the street captured footage at 4:28 a.m. on April 9th. After leaving the car, Debanhi was seen wandering alone in the middle of the road. Occasionally, cars sped by, posing a serious danger. After wandering for a while, Debanhi began slowly crossing the road toward the transport company. She approached the company's security booth, looked inside as if she wanted to enter, and then disappeared from the camera's view. Since the surveillance footage did not capture Juan, the driver, he was temporarily ruled out as a suspect. The police reviewed the footage multiple times and speculated that Debanhi may have seen something while walking past the transport company, or perhaps she wanted to enter the company to seek help. In any case, the police considered the possibility that Debanhi's disappearance could be connected to the transport company. As a result, they went to the company and met with the person in charge. After reviewing the surveillance footage, this individual confirmed that they did not know Debanhi and that nothing unusual occurred at the company on that day. Based on the timestamp from the camera, the security booth was unmanned at that time, so it remains unclear why Debanhi was looking toward the booth. The police speculated that Debanhi may have attempted to enter the security booth for help, but finding no one there, went elsewhere to seek assistance. After obtaining permission, the police investigated employees at the transport company. One employee provided a crucial lead, noting that there was an abandoned restaurant not far from the company, and Debanhi might have headed there. Surveillance footage showed that Debanhi's movement appeared to be in the direction of the restaurant. Behind the abandoned restaurant was also a motel, raising the possibility that Debanhi could have gone there as well. The police then visited the motel to investigate. The motel owner stated that they had never seen Debanhi, and none of the guests staying there that day reported seeing her either. However, a motel employee mentioned that the restaurant next door had only recently been abandoned, and its surveillance equipment might still be functional. Upon investigation, the police found that the surveillance cameras at the abandoned restaurant were indeed still operational. They reviewed the footage from that day and discovered some important details. The restaurant had a cylindrical structure, and one surveillance camera inside faced directly out of a window, illuminated by street lights. This camera captured a clear image of Debanhi walking past the window at 4:35 a.m. that day. The footage showed Debanhi sprinting past the small window in a hurried manner. Surveillance from the motel entrance also showed that at 4:35 a.m., Debanhi ran toward the restaurant, appearing as if someone was chasing her. However, upon closer inspection, it seemed there was no one actually pursuing her. This behavior struck the police as very strange. A minute later, Debanhi appeared on the restaurant's surveillance camera again. She was seen peering into the restaurant, and upon realizing that no one was inside, she quickly ran away. Afterwards, she moved out of the camera's view. Based on the direction Debanhi ran, it is presumed that she circled around the restaurant. After realizing she couldn't get inside, Debanhi left the area. 20 minutes later, Debanhi reappeared on the restaurant's surveillance camera, walking toward the side of the building. After that, she was never seen on any surveillance footage again. The police theorized that something may have happened to Debanhi after 4:56 a.m. on April 9th. They went to the location where she was last seen, at the side of the restaurant, to investigate further. The area had a perimeter wall, and inside was an abandoned swimming pool. Along another wall, there were 3 drainage pipes lined up. The first 2 pipes were uncovered, while the third had a lid. The police questioned whether Debanhi could have climbed over the wall to get inside. However, this theory was quickly dismissed. Upon measuring, the wall was found to be 2.6 meters tall with barbed wire at the top. Debanhi was 1.65 meters tall, and there were no footholds on the wall, making it nearly impossible for her to climb over on her own. The day after Debanhi's disappearance, the police expanded the search area using drones and search dogs, but found no additional clues. News of her mysterious disappearance spread quickly, drawing more and more attention. People in the community felt uneasy because Debanhi was not the first woman to go missing in the area. The road where Debanhi exited the car was known locally as the Death Road, where over 20 women had disappeared. Some speculated that this could be linked to criminal gangs in the area who were familiar with the terrain and often targeted young women walking alone. In the aftermath of Debanhi's disappearance, her parents actively cooperated with the police investigation and enlisted the help of relatives and friends to search for their daughter. At the location where she went missing, they distributed numerous flyers and posters, handing them out to passers-by. Several volunteers also joined the search efforts. While the search was ongoing, a high-ranking Mexican government official made a controversial statement. He suggested that the missing women were to blame for their disappearances, claiming they were irresponsible, ignored their parents' advice, and often went out alone at night, which led to trouble. This statement immediately sparked outrage, with people criticizing the official for being cold and insensitive. 6 days after the incident, the police offered a reward of 100,000 Mexican pesos, approximately $5,600 at the current exchange rate, for anyone providing useful information. They also deployed over 200 officers to conduct multiple searches around the restaurant and nearby motel. On April 21st, 12 days after Debanhi's disappearance, at around 10 p.m., a motel employee complained to the motel owner about a strange odor that seemed to be coming from the water tank at the abandoned restaurant in front. Upon hearing this, the owner realized something was wrong and alerted the police. Officers quickly arrived at the scene and confirmed that the foul smell was indeed coming from an open water tank beneath a wall. Inside the tank, they discovered a body. The opening of the tank was 98 centimeters long, 90 centimeters wide, and the tank was 4.4 meters deep. At the time of discovery, the water level was low, only about 0.9 meters. The 3 water tanks were interconnected at a depth of about 2 to 3 meters, but the space widened further below, measuring around 1.86 meters. When Debanhi's body was found, she was positioned head first, with her feet pointing upwards. The police struggled for a long time to retrieve the body from the tank. Due to prolonged exposure to water, the body had become bloated, but the police were able to identify the victim as Debanhi, 18, who had been missing for over 10 days based on her clothing and the crucifix necklace she was wearing. Inside the tank, they also found a pair of black canvas shoes and a shoulder bag. Inside the bag were a black face mask, a red plastic container, a bra, and 2 beige jackets. In the second uncovered water tank nearby, police recovered an orange lighter, a keychain, a black cell phone, a wallet, and another plastic container. The day after Debanhi's body was found, the police released part of the forensic report. DNA testing confirmed that the victim was indeed Debanhi. The cause of death was determined to be head trauma, and the time of death was estimated to be between April 9th and April 10th. Beyond this, the police did not disclose further details. They speculated that Debanhi, under the influence of alcohol early that morning, lost control of herself and accidentally fell into the water tank, leading to the fatal head injury. The case was initially classified as an accident. However, Debanhi's parents refused to accept this conclusion. They believed the police had withheld important information by not releasing the full forensic report, possibly concealing key facts. The parents also found it hard to believe that despite multiple searches, including the use of drones and search dogs, the police had not found Debanhi's body in the water tank earlier. It seemed implausible that her body had gone unnoticed in such proximity. The hasty conclusion that her death was an accident led many to believe the police were being careless, merely staging an investigation for the media rather than taking the case seriously. The public was outraged by the police's apparent negligence, and widespread support grew for Debanhi's parents, demanding a thorough investigation. Bowing to public pressure 2 days later, the authorities reclassified the case as a homicide investigation. The investigation was handed over to the office specializing in crimes against women, and Debanhi's parents requested a second autopsy. They firmly believed their daughter had been murdered and then dumped in the water tank, vowing to bring the perpetrator to justice. 17 days after the incident, a leaked surveillance video surfaced online, sparking further controversy. The video was captured from a different angle outside House 2, possibly recorded by a nearby resident. It showed Juan's car parked on the side of the road at 4:17 a.m., not far from the house. Debanhi was seen sitting in the front passenger seat, and the two were talking inside the car. Debanhi gestured with her hands, and moments later, Juan appeared to reach toward her chest before pulling his hand back. At this point, Debanhi became visibly agitated, waving her hands and pushing Juan away multiple times. It seemed as though Debanhi was confronting him about something, while Juan slumped forward, resting his head on the steering wheel and remaining motionless. The leaked video caused an uproar, reigniting public outcry. After viewing the footage, Debanhi's parents expressed their belief that Juan had acted inappropriately. "Juan reached for my daughter's chest," they stated. "We suspect that Juan, seeing that Debanhi was drunk, tried to take advantage of her. When she resisted, he became angry and decided to kill her." While previous surveillance footage showed that Juan was not present at the scene where Debanhi's body was found, this did not rule out the possibility that he had returned later to commit the crime. Juan was familiar with the area, knew where the surveillance cameras were located, and could have easily avoided them. Investigations revealed that Juan was not an upstanding individual. Shortly before Debanhi's disappearance, he had been arrested for drug possession. Furthermore, he had a criminal record involving harassment of women and was well known at the local police station. Given his troubled history, many believed that Juan was indeed capable of murder. One day after the video leaked, Juan gave a press interview, attempting to clear his name. He printed out the entire chat history with Sarah from that night, showing it to the public, and provided a detailed account of the events. Juan denied ever harassing women, claiming the accusations were baseless rumors. He insisted that he was not that kind of person. In the video, Juan's hand appeared to be reaching toward Debanhi's chest, but he claimed there was no malicious intent. He was simply handing her the phone charger. Due to the camera angle, it looked as though he was acting inappropriately, but that wasn't the case. Early that morning, when Debanhi got into the car, she was already in very poor condition, speaking incoherently and appearing as if she had been drugged. She constantly complains to Juan about her friends, saying that the girls she goes to parties with are all fake. The more she spoke, the more agitated she became, which is why she was gesturing so much. Later, Debanhi insisted on getting out of the car in the middle of the road. Juan tried to convince her to stay, but when his efforts failed, he had no choice but to let her out. He never imagined that she would end up losing her life. Juan expressed deep distress over the comments circulating online, as everyone seemed to believe he was a murderer, though he maintained his innocence. He said he was being wrongfully accused, which had prompted him to come forward and clarify the situation. A month after the incident, Debanhi's ID card was discovered by a resident near Building 15, located 17 kilometers from where her body was found. The resident explained that while walking his dog in the morning, he spotted the ID card in a flower bed. Given how widely Debanhi's case had been covered by the media, he immediately recognized her from the photo. It was highly likely that the perpetrator had discarded the ID card there after the crime. However, by this point, it was difficult to uncover additional clues from the card's location. In the following days, 15 more surveillance videos related to Debanhi surfaced in the town of General Escobar. One particular video drew significant attention from Debanhi's parents. This video, taken from the motel behind the abandoned restaurant, appeared to be promoting the motel's facilities, but it contained a strange scene focusing directly on room 174. The shot seemed odd, as if it was hinting at something. The police decided to search the motel again, and the investigation took 7 hours. They reviewed additional surveillance footage from the motel and conducted forensic lighting tests in room 174, but found nothing unusual. Later, Debanhi's parents requested that the police search the transport company next door again. This time, they discovered that a surveillance camera at the company had lost footage for 8 to 9 minutes. Debanhi's parents believed this missing footage could be connected to their daughter's death, but the police provided no explanation for the lost video, and the matter slowly faded from public attention. On May 13th, the second forensic report was released. It revealed that Debanhi had sustained multiple injuries, with her head having been struck several times with a blunt object. There were bruises on her forehead, eyes, nose, left lip, and ear. She had also been assaulted before her death. Her respiratory tract and lungs showed no signs of fluid, indicating that she had died before falling into the water tank. This revelation immediately reignited public outrage, as many people felt that the police had concealed the truth, acted irresponsibly, and failed to conduct a thorough investigation, seemingly eager to close the case quickly. Hundreds of local women took to the streets in protest. The wave of anger soon spread to other cities across Mexico. The massive demonstrations garnered widespread attention, highlighting the ongoing crisis of missing women in Mexico. Every year, hundreds, if not thousands, of women disappear under mysterious circumstances in the country, and Debanhi was just one of many. People sympathized with Debanhi's tragic fate. Many voluntarily visited the scene of the crime to lay flowers, light candles, and wear purple ribbons in remembrance of the young woman whose life was so brutally cut short. The President of Mexico extended his deepest condolences to Debanhi's parents, pledging to fully investigate the case and ensure justice for the young woman. On June 16th, during a morning press conference, the president announced that a third autopsy would be conducted on Debanhi, with the participation of multiple forensic experts. On June 30th, Debanhi's body, which had already been buried, was exhumed to facilitate further investigation. The results of the third autopsy were released soon after. It concluded that Debanhi died from asphyxia caused by multiple factors obstructing her airway, and there were no signs of violence or assault at the time of death. This finding contradicted the previous autopsy, which suggested she had suffered blunt force trauma and been assaulted before her death. The latest conclusion indicated that Debanhi had accidentally fallen into the water tank and drowned. With no additional leads found, Debanhi's parents began to hold Sarah and Yvonne, the two women who were with Debanhi the night she disappeared, partially responsible for what happened to their daughter. Following this, Sarah and Yvonne appeared together in a televised interview. They shared how they had been under immense psychological pressure since Debanhi's death. They faced widespread criticism for abandoning their friend, and some people even cursed and insulted them on social media, severely affecting their lives. That night, we tried multiple times to help Debanhi, but she refused our help, Sarah and Yvonne explained. We did everything we could to assist her. No one wanted this to happen. We never imagined things would turn out this way. If we had, we would have made sure she got home safely. We are very sorry to Debanhi's parents, but there was only so much we could do. On Debanhi's birthday in 2023, her father posted a message on social media. Today, heaven and the angels are celebrating because our little princess should have turned 20. Now you are surrounded by angels and stars, our family's guardian angel. Every time you play among the rainbows, we can hear your voice. We love you so much, Debanhi. This case remains one of the most widely followed criminal investigations in Mexico's history. To this day, there is no definitive answer as to whether Debanhi's death was an accident or a murder. Public opinion is divided, and the case has become an unsolved mystery. Debanhi's parents continue to search tirelessly for the truth, unable to find peace after the loss of their daughter. The image of a beautiful young girl, full of dreams and hopes, is forever frozen at 18, on a quiet, desolate road. Debanhi Escobar's story is not just a personal tragedy, but a harrowing reminder of the violence faced by women in Mexico. We still don't have the final answer. We still don't know whether her death was an accident or part of a cruel conspiracy. But one thing is certain: her family, friends, and all those who loved her will never stop searching for the truth. While we can never bring Debanhi back, the flame of hope and the pursuit of justice for her will continue to burn brightly. We pray that one day justice will be served and the death roads will be nothing more than painful memories from the past. Only then can Debanhi and the thousands of other unfortunate victims truly rest in peace. If you found this video valuable, please hit like, subscribe, and share it to raise awareness about this critical issue. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any future updates. Thank you for watching.